Hey, I'm Rob with JaxPunx, and I'm here with Nikki Fama.
Hey!
Yeah, so when did you start listening to punk?
I was listening to punk probably like in my early teens. I was very into heavy metal as a child. My first cassette, it wasn't even a cassette, it was an 8-track. It was Ozzy Osbourne. So I listened to heavy metal growing up. And as I got older, it progressed into skate punk and punk music, and I had friends that were skaters, and so I'd say by 13 or 14, it was Misfits, Black Flag, all your classics.
Did you have the mixtapes that you would burn?
No, we had a wonderful store in Orange Park called Wags, Henry Wagner, and we would go there and you could collect your cassette tapes, and he would stamp them because you could turn them back in and sell them back for half the price that you got. So you'd spend $3 on a cassette, but you get $1.50 in credit if you turned it back in. So we would just continually get new music and like trade them out. And he sold concert t-shirts, and so we would buy concert t-shirts from there. And that was back when shows were still, you had to go buy tickets. So we would go buy our tickets at Wags record shop. But yeah, so that's where I got a lot of my early music from, was older friends that knew about Wags taking us up there.
What was your first punk album that you ever bought or stole?
I think that's going to be Black Flag. Yeah, it was Black Flag.
Was it Damaged or?
I don't even remember. I don't remember. I just remember my mind being blown, and I was like, what is this? This is crazy. You know what I mean? Like I felt the aggression, and I felt the outstanding, differential than normal society, and I identified with it. And I was like, yes, this is what I'm about. I like this. Let's have more of this.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
What was the first punk band you ever saw live?
It's so long ago, I don't remember the first punk band that I saw, but I do remember the first place that I saw punk bands was Einstein's.
Okay.
Because it was all ages. We could go out there, we'd all load up and take the hour drive and go out to the beach and go see bands we've never heard of, and the scene that we'd never seen before, and we were like, yes, more of this, and that crossed over when Einstein's, and then there was Metropolis Milk Bar, and so we started going there, much too young, sneaking our way in, finding out, and the guys at the bar, who now Dave was one of those guys, and I'm with Dave now, and we laugh about this. He would tell me, he'd be like, okay, come back when you're 21. I'd be like, oh, busted.
So he knew.
Yeah, so they knew. But they would let us in the door, and they wouldn't say anything as long as we didn't drink and stayed out of trouble, which wasn't always the case, but.
I had a fake ID. That's how I got in trouble.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So, did you play music?
I thought I could play guitar when I was younger.
Yeah, I don't want to.
And I thought that I could play bass. And I played bass with friends, we're going to form a band. Nothing ever happened from it. But all of our friends were in bands, so we had access to equipment and like band rooms, and so we'd mess around, but nothing. I wouldn't call myself a musician.
What band rooms did you jam in?
So one of my boyfriends was in a band called Red Light, Green Light, Go.
I remember that.
Them, and all of our friends from high school, some guys that are still playing Appalachian Death Trap. I went to school with Gary Vernon, and all those guys, John Golatz and Bill Dawson, they were at another school, but we all hung out in the same place because they used to do the shows at the civic centers out there. And so we would all go to the shows, and so everybody would play, and then eventually I got a little older and I married Ray from Stevie Stiletto.
Yeah.
And so that was a band room that we were in all the time. And of course, you know, he was actually recording at the time still. So there was a lot of that, and studios that I got introduced to at a young age because of Ray. The whole music industry with music lawyers and, you know, producers, and Attitude Records was what he was recording on in Jacksonville. And so I got to meet that whole crew and see how shady all that the industry people can be.
Yeah. They can be kind of fake, can't they?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
And lots of rules and stipulations of what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. And of course, Ray was like, I'm gonna do it my way anyway, you know? So we bootleg his own record and, you know, make our own bootlegs and put photocopy, you know, covers of cassettes, and we'd go drop them off at all the record stores. And we were making money like that, and Attitude wasn't getting it, and they found out about it. They're like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you won't give me any more of my records. And they're like, well, we're trying to sell them. He's like, so am I. So
Ray was freaking awesome.
yeah.
He played a game just long enough to get his foot in the door, and then he he did what he wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I really liked Ray.
Yeah.
I really liked Ray. He was a great dude.
Yeah.
He really was.
There was two people inside Ray. There was Ray, and then there was Stevie Stiletto. Ray was sweet, kind, caring, compassionate, dog lover, animal lover, gardener. Like, he was just a different person than this persona that he had.
Oh, absolutely.
But he was always the persona, and he was always that persona so much that it became problematic for him. So yeah.
I remember he was a really genuinely giving guy. He came and saw us one time in the practice room, and he said, man, I really like what you guys are doing. You need to get on this comp with us, or with Buffalo Mafia.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, and Ray had a way of kind of spinning stuff sometimes, and I was like, maybe he's telling me the truth. Maybe he's just wishful thinking.
Right.
And so he gets on the phone, and he's talking to somebody, and we're all partying, we're having a blast, and he gets off the phone, and I hear him talking. He goes, oh, you don't have any spot? Well, go ahead and give him my spot. And I was like, well, that's really not going to happen. I can't see that happening at all. We're going to take the place of Stevie Ray Stiletto on a comp. I don't see the people doing that.
Right.
I'm like, that'll never happen, is what I was thinking. And then all of a sudden, probably 2 weeks later, he said, send your music to this particular spot, to these people. It was Dead End Kids. I think they were in Tampa or something, and it was called Better Than a Poke in the Eye. And it was a comp with a bunch of bands on it and stuff, and we got on there, and he gave us his spot. And I was like, man, please, what do we do? How can I possibly repay you for this?
Right.
He said, one day when we're hanging out in the bar somewhere in New York, buy me a drink. That's what he said. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was something. So what was it like living with Ray? You say it was a little different.
Well, yeah, because at home he was just Ray. He had his dog, Doorman, who we called Doe. He was the doorman because if he didn't like you, you weren't getting through the door. Ooh. He was the doorman. And, but he was like, he loved to cook. He was a great cook in the kitchen. We used to do woodworking crafts, and I'd love to find artwork of his that we made so many things. Bats, like carved out of wood with routers, and like we paint them. And I had all the woodworking skills from the job that I had, and he would paint everything. And then we went to flea market a couple times, but mostly it was just given away to people, and hung in people's houses and things like that. So
yeah.
But he was different. He was sweet at home. We'd sit out in the morning and drink coffee on the porch and pet the dog, and he'd tend to his garden. he loved coyote squash. Yeah.
What is coyote squash?
It's like a Asian squash, and it grows on a vine, and he would grow it up his oak tree. And it was the craziest thing.
Is it hard like a butternut or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
you cook
green.
it like spaghetti.
Yeah.
Like spaghetti squash.
And it was just, seeing those sides of him, and then everybody would be like, "Oh my gosh, you're married to Ray? That's got to be crazy." I'm like, it's crazy when we're out and about, So, but there was a huge age difference, and it was just,
Oh yeah.
a lot of it was alcohol fueled. So, but it was definitely an introduction to the whole music production world. And after being involved with Milk Bar and all of that, I worked for Milk Bar for a little while. I was the flyer girl, off and on for years. When I started being too young to go to Milk Bar, they would be like, "Oh, she works here," and they gave me a shirt, and they'd say, "Well, she passes out flyers for us," and we'd go to the landing and pass out flyers. And then when I got older and I had a car of my own, I'd go to different facilities, different other clubs, and there was no social media, so there'd be a packet of flyers, one for Moto Lounge, one for Milk Bar, and all the bands, and then we'd stick them underneath car windows. I was the person that flyered your car every day.
I saw probably
Yeah.
saw some of your flyers.
Yeah, that's what I did. I did it for a long time too. So
who were some of the most favorite people that you'd love to hang out with at shows? Slamming and running around and just having a blast.
Allison. I remember Jared O'Toole back in the day. A lot of people that I don't have contact with anymore, lost touch with them, people change, things like that. But, back in the day, there was a whole little crew of us, Fia and Fiona. There was just a whole group of people that we were just the Milk Bar kids.
Yeah.
And then I got a job, I worked at Club 5. And then that was a beef there because Club 5, you weren't allowed to hang out with people from Milk Bar, and Milk Bar people didn't like the Club 5 people, and and I'd go to both places, and they'd be like, "Why are you here?"
Jacksonville finds a way to cause division, doesn't it?
It does.
Beach people, don't go on the other side of the ditch.
Right.
Don't come over, don't go to the west side if you're Riverside.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
Always. And we were
Right.
south side, so it was like we were just this little tiny nobodies that couldn't fit in anywhere.
Yeah, Cindy's Good Time Club over there.
Yeah. Spikes.
Yeah, Doghouse. And, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So where I'm kind of going through the list here. I got some little icebreaker questions and stuff. What were? So I know you went to Wags.
Yeah.
Did you go? Where'd you get your clothes and stuff? Did you go to the thrift store or did you go?
I made a lot of my clothes when I was younger. My mom showed me how to make, like maxi skirts and things like that. And then I got into sewing and theater. Also, when I was young, in my teens, started doing costume work for theaters. So I learned how to sew, and so I started making clothes. Things that, what was so funny is when Hot Topic opened and we saw these clothes that were being sold with zippers and patches, and I said, that looks like the shit that we were making like 10 years ago.
That's
Like,
right.
what's going on here, And they're selling it at the mall. What's happening?
Yeah,
But we used to
retail
make
prices.
that stuff. Yeah, retail prices. But I had a book from the Sex Pistols called England's Dreaming, Sex Pistols, Punk Rock and Beyond. And it talks about the political climate in England in the 70s and what was happening to make the youth rebel, why the sex shop, the clothing store was so successful for Malcolm and Vivian Westwood, and how that, and what they were making. And so I started emulating a lot of that. I was like looking at pictures, seeing what they did, and believe it or not, I found a postcard series at a thrift store, like 20 postcards, and they were all pictures of punks from England in the 80s.
Sick.
And I was like, hell yeah, this is the real deal. Like, these are like people at the clubs and stuff. And so, like, I'd see it and I would be like, I can do that. You know what I mean? Like, I can make that shirt.
Oh,
You know, and so it was kind of like that. So I got a lot of my clothes that way, but most of it came from thrift stores. I got a little fancy for a little while and used to wear a lot of Lip Service. You remember the company
Yes.
Lip Service?
I love Lip Service.
Yeah, Lip Service was the old rock and roll go-to
yeah.
band. That was it. So, but yeah, so that was kind of my style of stuff, and lots of leather and, you know, safety pins and patches and stuff.
What about your
Safety
first
pins in
pair
your
of
ear.
combat boots?
Yeah. My first pair of combat boots, I was in high school. I was probably 15. Yeah, I was probably 15, and they were jump boots. They were air flight jump boots,
yeah.
you know,
With the canvas on the sides.
on the canvas on the sides. And I wore those for a little while, and then somehow I acquired a pair of Doc Martens, and that was pretty amazing. And I was like, oh, I got my own pair of Docs. And I had a couple of different pairs of boots, Docs, the jump boots, another pair, and before I was 21, somebody in the scene stole my stuff. And so I did the whole thing. Like, I beat her up and took the
so
boots.
you knew who did it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And I took the
okay.
boots back and I spray painted them silver.
Uh-huh.
Ah.
And I spray painted them silver and I'd wear them around. I'd be like, try it again.
Yeah.
Take them off my feet now. Do you want them?
Yeah.
You can see them. I know you can see them. You know,
I spray painted some red.
did you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bright red like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bright red.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before I ever had any dogs.
What about your
Yeah.
hair? Did you have like spikes or mohawks, or what did you do?
When I was in school, when I was a teenager, you know, I had a fake mohawk. I had my sides of my head shaved, but I had long hair so I could cover it up around my parents who
Yeah.
hated it, you know.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I'd go out and flip my hair over, and I thought it was super cool. And then I was hanging out with some goth kids and going goth places and stuff, and I put all my hair in a ponytail and I cut it off. And so then I went full mohawk.
Yeah.
And, you
What'd your
know,
parents say about that?
my mom asked me what I did with it, and I said, I've got it in a ponytail. I'm gonna sell it. My mom bought it from me. And I was a punk living, you know, in Riverside, and I was like, I'll sell it to you. I'll take your money. You know what I mean? I had no attachment to it, and I think she still has it to this day.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And we don't get along super well, but she still got it. She's like,
Well, that's awesome because you can make your wig out of it
yeah.
when you're like
Did they give
80.
you trouble about walking out with punk clothes on and stuff?
Oh, yeah. 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 When I was 13, I was all heavy metal, you know, and this was back in the Satanic Scare, Geraldo
yeah.
Rivera. Do you remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
kid's
playing
a
it backwards.
Satanist. Yeah, your kid's a Satanist. And so the school called my parents. We think your daughter's a Satanist. We have to have an emergency meeting. My
What
parents-
school?
Middleburg. Middleburg. And my mom lost it. They burned all my stuff. They had a big bonfire outside. They bought me.
Damn it.
They brought me foofy clothes with like flowers and shit on them. And this is the '80s, so like the high-waisted pants with the fake belts and like
Oh,
it was
terrible.
Yeah. And so I'd get dressed. I'd go to school, and all my friends would give me their clothes. And I'd
Yeah.
change clothes, and I'd go back home, and I'd be wearing, you know, whatever T-shirt and stuff. They'd be like, "What's going on? Why are you?" Well, you want to do it again? Let's do it again. Where's those clothes that I bought? I threw them away.
I burned them.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I spray painted them silver.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, but that was
That's awesome.
the Satanic Scare of the 80s.
I had
Yeah,
the
oh,
same
yeah.
problem. I had
Yeah.
the same problem.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
played it backwards and it said bad things. They're like,
Yeah.
well, it's not supposed to be played backwards. Why are you doing that?
Right. And I remember there was one cassette that I had burned, and it was the band Death
Oh, yeah.
album Leprosy. And I had it listed D-L-E-P. My mom thought it was Def Leppard and let me keep it.
Oh. That was the one, so didn't it have like 4 albums made up one picture?
Yes.
Death?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Leprosy, and she didn't know, and so I got to keep that one singular thing because my brother listened to Poison and those, you know, Def Leppard and those glam bands, and so she was like, "Oh, that's one of the bands your brother listens to, so you can keep
yeah.
that one." And I was like, "Okay."
Note to self, write the wrong name.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Madonna.
Madonna is really, you know, Cro-Max.
Yeah. Right.
Madonna's Cro-Max.
Yeah.
So you talked about putting flyers out and stuff. and so you would do the flyer campaign
Mm-hmm.
because we could not just look online. There
Right.
was no online.
No.
So the other thing was, how did you find out about music? I mean, what kind of magazines did you get?
Maximum Rock and Roll.
MRR?
Yeah, MMR was a big one. A Thrasher magazine. Always
You remember
had
Flip
some.
Side?
I do remember Flipside, but it wasn't one that I grabbed. So it was always MMR, and because they had that one at Wags, and then the Thrasher magazine, which you could get, which always had the little tidbits of music information and stuff like that in there. And I thought I was gonna be a skateboarder, and it turned out I was just hanging out with all the skateboarders, But hey,
Same story over here. I'm like, I busted a majorly a couple times. And I was like, done.
I gotta say, I tried so hard to skate. I was so clumsy.
Yeah. I roller skate now. Like I have roller skate, like a nice pair of roller skates. And I go do adult night, because I'm old. And so when you do adult night, because if you fall someplace, I have fallen. I've been to parks and stuff at this age, and have fallen doing little jumps and stuff off stairs and just busted my ass. Oof. And I'm like, not doing that anymore. I'll stick on the nice, smooth, polished floor with shitty music.
Falling on this kind of stuff here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those rocks end up in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yep,
God.
I had more than a few rocks in my knees and over the years.
So we talked about Ray a little bit. So we've had a lot of things that are touching on some of the ideas that I've had for questions. But what are some of the other people that have crossed over that we don't get this luxury of being able to ask them about their fun times of old school punk? So who are some people other than?
Wow.
I know there's plenty.
Yeah. I mean, you mean like people I know personally?
Yeah, like do you have any Allison stories
Personal
or
punk rock friends that
my favorite Allison story I actually told in front of her whole family at the wake. That my favorite story with Allison, knew her for years, grew up, but during that time, we got into a fight inside Milk Bar. Mm-hmm. And I think it was over the boots. Like the girl that I beat up, she was mad about it. Like, you shouldn't have done that. And I was like, piss off.
Strip my fucking boots.
Yeah. So we got into a fight in Milk Bar, and she sprayed me with pepper spray.
Wow.
But it lit up the whole bar, the whole place. Everybody's running and like, oh, what's going on? And we joked about it throughout the rest of our friendship. That was a turning point. It made us, because after that we became, super close friends again, and we were like, hey, yeah, remember that time you maced you? So it's one of my favorite stories of Allison.
Some of my best friends I started fighting.
Yeah.
My best buddies, and especially in younger years.
Yeah.
From fighting.
Yeah.
Because the ones that fight back are true.
Yeah, we scrapped a little bit, so.
She was probably a pretty tough fight.
Oh, yeah.
She was no slouch, that's
Yeah,
for sure.
well,
I mean, both you gals are,
wasn't
both
no
you
slouch
gals.
either. That's why she busted out the pepper spray.
She knew when to go nuclear,
Right. Like, all right, I got to put her down.
Especially when you're still fighting for your boots, man. Hell,
Yeah.
Your back's against the wall, man.
I know. Oh my gosh, the
You already
days.
burned the ships, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The days. That's crazy.
So what were some of your favorite local bands?
I really loved, let's see, there was Proletariats. They were great. Common Thread. We're going way back.
Yeah.
Frog. Let's see. Oh, Friends of Carlotta.
I was just thinking about
man,
that.
Friends of Carlotta.
They
I
had
love
the best
FOC.
shows.
yeah, we gotta
Swiss
get some of
Kid
those
Rolls.
guys to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah.
I know one of them, James Brian Nelson.
Yeah. Yeah. But there was just, man, over the years there's been hundreds because I've seen so many bands that I forget them all. One of the things that I've done as I've gotten older is I've tried to go back and see bands that are still touring and do it, because now I'm not a drinker.
Yeah.
I'm not partying. So I actually go to see the band. watch the band and, you know, things like that I didn't really do as much then because I was drinking and partying and in the pit and jumping around and, you know, just being crazy. I mean, actually just being wild as fuck, you know? And so I like to go back now anytime I get a chance to see bands that come back through, you know, and see them as an adult is what I say.
Yeah. Soak in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know we saw Suicidal Tendencies. Oh my God, they were just freaking.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a band that worked a stage like Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah, Mike's a good showman. Yeah.
I mean, they're not a local band, but golly.
Right.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So it just plays into that, you know, just
Yeah.
soaking it all up. I was just like, in
Mr.
awe.
Bungle played Fat Cat one time. And that was amazing. See
Yeah.
Mike Patton do his thing, you know, in a smaller, intimate thing like that. That's a memory I've held on to for a while that I've been able to. And that was kind of because I was working a little bit to help the people at Fat Cat. We had to run, well, they're closed now, so I can say this. We used to run and go buy cigarettes and beer and bring it back to the bar for them to sell at the venue.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I wasn't, you know, intoxicated. So I was like, I remember the show because we were running errands and doing stuff, and we got to actually see the show. And when Fat Cat was open, you know, that building's, you know, closed. Yeah.
I wonder what'll happen to that spot. But I'm glad you mentioned Fat Cat because, like, we're trying to remember all of the venues that have come and gone, you know?
Yeah. There's
17 South.
17 South.
And what was that? So it was called something else. I mean, it was right around the corner from here. It wasn't always so. After that, it was something else.
17 South. Oh, what was it called before it turned into Fat Cat?
I saw Subhumans and World Inferno Friendship Society there, and I don't remember the name of it. But it wasn't 17 South then.
Right. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh,
We were just talking about Shades too.
Yeah.
Remember Shades?
Yes.
Shades. I saw Napalm Death down there at Shades,
Shades
and
was awesome.
yeah, they had a lot of
The
good shows.
Lizard
Iron
Lounge.
Maiden played at Shade. What the hell?
Iron Maiden played at Shades.
When Bruce was not with them. It was the other dude.
Okay, so they only had like 1/3 of their people or something.
I don't know, but I that blew me away.
Yeah.
Like, how has that happened?
Yeah. That's
So-
how I felt about Napalm Death. I was like, I gotta go. You know, I gotta go. Get me in. I wasn't old enough, you know, but my friend got me in, so I was like, yeah.
You always had kind of a link up with the.
Always.
With the-
I don't know
with the
how
scene.
it happened. You know, before I was old enough to go do things. How I got into Club 5 was Arnie Lee. Remember Ernie Lee? Bicycle Terrorist of the World. He's around still, being just as weird as he always was. But he wrote on a card, Arnie Lee's card, free pass, let her in anytime she comes to Club 5. And I was like, cool. So I used to go to Club 5 all the time, and I'd be like, you know, and they'd be like, go on in. And there's just Sam. There goes this girl again, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so.
You had some gravitas.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so. And then, you know, like, people will be like, oh, well, I saw her at Club 5, so, you know, oh, yeah, I saw her at Milk Bar.
She's got to be old enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's
And so
gotta be.
and then the bands and, like, my friends from school, they would play, and then they would go up to play at, say, Milk Bar, and so I learned how to come in through the back to load the bands.
Oh, yeah.
And then we started doing stuff like getting big bags of ice and putting in our car, and we would park and carry the bags of ice and just walk in the back door.
Yeah.
And everybody thought we were just doing
Bar
stuff for
backs.
they just thought we were doing stuff.
Bringing ice for the band.
Yeah, bringing ice for the band, and we would just walk in, and we walked in all the time.
Did you ever go above the Milk Bar, the different floors above?
Yes, with
Go
the
up on the roof?
screwdriver, then the whole screwdriver elevator thing.
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, the elevator of death. Yes, and the rooftop. Yep.
Get up on the roof.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We were talking about that with Larry and Ed. We did their interview.
Yeah.
Nobody ever looked up. You could be on the floor right above, looking out the window at people walking by, and they would never look up. No one ever walked on the sidewalk like that.
Huh.
The whole time we'd be talking up there and stuff,
Yeah.
and just one floor above. and nobody ever looked
I
up. It
never
was
thought
amazing.
about that. Yeah.
We started trying to, you know, really test the theory. You know, like
Right.
we're gonna watch and see if anybody looks up.
Right. Right.
I guess it just never. There was too much in front to see.
Yeah.
That it was just nobody ever thought to look up.
You know, and then when Milk Bar moved down the street, and it was Paradome 618, I worked for them. I had worked at Club 5 as one of the box dancers, and wasn't in the fetish shows. We were the box dancers in the corner, and so they hired me to basically piss off the bartenders. There was the circle bar inside 618, and then they had the flat middle where they put all the bottles and stuff. Well, when it was Paradome, they didn't have all those bottles up there. That was my stage to dance on. And I wore Everlast boxing gear. You know, this is the 90s, okay? So, J-Lo and the Fly Girls were all real popular and stuff on Mad TV and all that stuff. And so they were like, that's what we want you to do. And so I'd wear Asics and, like, boxing gear and, like, dance on the stage. The bartenders hated me because I'm, like, right there, like, they're trying to do stuff and turn around, and, like, I'm kicking and stuff.
Yeah, there's somebody with their feet right by their face.
Somebody with their feet right by their face.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
Moving.
Okay, we need pictures of this.
Yeah, I know. So I was telling Dave when we were talking about this, there are very little pictures of me from the past because I was one of the assholes that would break your camera if I caught you taking a picture of me.
Wow.
Yeah, so there are a few floating pictures around of me from Club 5 days that I would not like to be public. But there's very few of them that are in existence because if I caught you taking it, I would break your camera. I was that asshole.
And it was a camera thing back then, too.
Yeah, it was a camera. It
like
wasn't
you
a
just had your
phone.
cell phone.
Yeah.
I remember Molly used to take a bunch of pictures of us, and now she's in Alabama somewhere, and I can't get a hold of her, but she's got the pics. She's got a bunch of photos of us back in the day, and I don't really have any way of getting a hold of her.
Yeah, somewhere there's a girl named Crystal that was Ray's photographer. And she would come to the band room and take pictures, and we'd go do the shows and, take pictures before it got shut down. And then, she came to the house one day to do more intimate setting with us, and that's when we lived in the shack. We lived in a little shack with no running water, no electricity, everything was battery operated, kerosene heater, no plumbing. I mean, it was a shack, and I think it scared her. We were eating kimchi. She was like, oh God, it smells terrible. What does that smell? We were like, eat it.
It's good.
eat it. She was like, no, I don't want to. And then I think I scared her away because I don't know what happened to her. I don't know.
No more photos for you.
Yeah, no more photos for you. You guys are crazy.
What was her last name?
I don't even remember her. She had a little Chelsea cut before it was popular, the little bang and shaved head. But I don't remember anything else about her other than she took all the pictures.
Did she take the one with Ray sitting in that big lounge chair when I think he had like a suit on? It's like black and white and red.
With the red, like he's holding something.
Yeah,
I don't remember what
or
it
he had
is.
red shoes or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a great picture.
That was
a very
a great picture.
iconic picture.
Yeah.
That one just stands out to me. I remember when
That
I
was a
first
good
saw
one.
it. I was like, wow.
That was a good picture.
It looks like a pro job.
Yeah.
Like it was a real professional photography session.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the one-off where he was hanging out and we caught him, candid shot.
Right.
So, you were saying you went to Middleburg High School?
Mm-hmm.
Did you grow up in Middleburg?
I did.
That was way out too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way out now, but there's stuff out there now.
There was nothing. So we would load up the car and drive to Jacksonville. We'd come to hang out in 5 Points. Fuel wasn't there yet. It was Oppenheimer's and what was the Smart Bar? Stephen Dare.
That was Fuel. I mean, not Fuel. It was shoot.
Adam Suslak worked there. What was the name of it? It was right next to Oppenheimer.
It'll come back in a minute.
It'll come back. But so we'd go up there and we'd go shop at Edge City.
Fusion. It was Fusion.
Was it Fusion Cafe? Yeah,
Fusion Cafe.
Fusion Cafe. Because they had all the smart drinks.
Because they used to have an art show there.
Yeah. And we played the games that were popular. Everybody was playing Masquerade. You know, the vampire
I
game
remember that,
where everybody
yeah.
would get dressed up and they'd go play and they'd do it. So we'd go up there and hang out. You know, we didn't play it, but we were like, ooh, all the cool kids are in 5 Points, you know. So we'd always go up and hang out, and it just became my home. You know, it just became a place that I identified with everybody that I met. You know, all the Riverside Rats. And then before I knew it, I was without a home. You know, I got kicked out by my parents, and so I was like, where am I going to go? Riverside. So, you know, the Riverside Rat syndrome started. You know, bouncing off couches and meeting all the people that lived in Riverside, walking around 5 Points, carrying quarts of, you know, Mickey's Ice, and you know,
so cool
you know, hanging out in the park, drinking quarts. You know, and I'm thinking, hey, you couldn't do that now, you know.
No, it's way too gentrified.
Yeah, but we were literally the gang of punks walking down the street with quartz in our hand, you know, and the leather and the mohawks and the whole 9 yards.
Like
And I'm
suburbia.
Like suburbia. Like it was real life, but that was just how we lived. That was just what it was, you know? Yeah.
So did you ever go to Edge City?
Yeah. Yeah, we'd shop there all the time. I would go there to get my supply of baby doll shoes that were popular in the 90s. These little flat
The
arch
little,
killers.
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah. They were like little flat. They looked like Mary Jane's, but they were canvas.
They're like little Asian shoes.
Yeah, plastic on the
Oh,
bottom, and they had a little strap that went across the top, and they were like $8. And we were like, oh yeah, we totally wear those with our knee-high, you know, socks that didn't match anything. You know, all the striped socks were real popular, and so we'd get all that stuff from her, from Tom and Janelle, and
I'm bringing
hang out
those
and be
back.
cool. Yeah, right. And I wear them sometimes still, and my daughter goes, Mom. I'm like, what? Because they're, you know, Gen Z millennials and stuff. So
They don't understand.
they don't understand.
They don't understand what cool really is.
Right.
That's
right.
fucked up.
All
Nerdy
right, so
kids.
Yeah. Right.
while we're in the present, so let's talk about what you're doing now, and what about, you know, your business and stuff.
Yeah. So I am a co-owner of Duval Dogs Daycare and Boarding. We are a community oriented facility that operates on the principle that dogs are unique and precious members of our families, and they need to be treated that way. So when dogs come to our facility, we play with them, we brush them, we play games with them. We don't just stick them in a pile and just let them do whatever for 8 hours and then send them home. We clean them up before they go home. They get snacks. We made homemade treats. Like, we treat them like our dogs, you know? We're like, oh, you need a brushing. Come here. And we brush them out. We just try to do it different because these corporate places do it, and they charge you for everything. They nickel and dime. There is a snuggle time charge at another facility.
Oh.
There's another facility that charges you a package, a membership fee, so that you can use their app, so that you can communicate with the while they're there. Like, you charge them to communicate and let them know that the dog's doing okay.
Wow.
Like, we just do it. Like, we're
Charge
just
them to talk to their own dog.
yeah, like it doesn't make any sense. So we treat them like family members and play with them all day. And the community has really been accepting of us. We are LGBTQ friendly, and we have our big flags up everywhere in the front and the back. I'm bi, I'm brown, I'm a woman. So we categorize all of that stuff. You know, my daughter is also part owner, so we are officially a woman-owned facility because we have more women owner than men. Dave's my partner.
Yeah.
And so we just try to, you know, be as inclusive as possible and diverse, although I have not accepted clients who were MAGA. I had a guy tell me he was going to go protest Jimmy Carter's funeral. And he's been up to DC before because he's done it before. And he's even been to the book depository and took a picture from that view because he wanted to see what I'm like, I'm not helping you do any of this. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't help you, sir.
Your
Like,
dog
you have to
is-
go someplace else.
I'm sorry that your dog has to be has to not be able to be taken care of
Yeah,
by
I
us.
know. I'm like, I
Because your
can't.
dog really deserves some love, but
I just can't. I'm not going to help you protest Jimmy Carter's funeral. I'm not going to do that.
Jimmy Carter was a great guy.
He was a great man.
Okay,
He
love him
was-
or hate him as a president, but as a man,
As a man, he was
shoot.
all of the
Oh
work
my
that he
gosh,
did for
he was
the
phenomenal.
housing and the building the homes
He
and
worked till the day he died.
Yep.
Anybody that says that he's not, that he wasn't an asset to this country, is just wrong.
Yeah.
Dead wrong. They're just
And to
wrong.
want to protest it, I couldn't get behind it.
Yeah,
But
anybody
so
can
I
protest
say
it.
inclusive, but I guess I have my limitations too. So.
Yeah. Well, to hate Jimmy Carter is really, really, that's a good reason not to take care of their dog.
Yeah.
The man
Yeah.
was a good man,
Yeah.
plain and simple. You know, I'm not a Christian,
Right.
but he sure was, and I got a lot of respect for the guy.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I mean, he just worked till the day he died. Man. I mean, he just.
Always about helping.
He was doing Habitat for Humanity in his 90s.
Yep.
He almost did he make it to 100?
I think he was 99.
Yeah, I think
Just
he
short. I
was
think he
just
was
short
just
of it.
short of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a great man.
Yep.
Yeah, he was a great man.
But we are also expanding and we are opening up a retail space. I'm working with Christina Wagner to open up right next door to Duval Dogs another place called Zagatos, which is a Costa Rican street dog. That's what that translates to. And it's going to be kind of an apothecary, community focus, that's local as possible, mixed use art venue. So we'll have like books and magazines from local authors, art and vendors from local authors. Yes, I want your book. And from different people to have a brick and mortar store for their artware and things like that. And we'll have a few pieces of our own up there as well. And we'll do some spoken word and some book signings and things that are a little bit more quiet than Rain Dogs, but still community focused and, you know, with local vendors around here that have honey and goat milk and mushrooms and things that we can make tinctures with and products like that that will be beneficial for everybody to get away from the big commercial corporations that are selling you half-ass products that don't even really work.
Yeah.
You know, that, you know, oh, here, this will help your hair. Here, this will help your stomach. Here, this will help. No, we're going to do it for you. And we're going to do old school style apothecary concoctions to help. Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
So we're hoping for an October open. So, yeah.
That's
One of the other
awesome.
things that I'm doing right now is I work for IETSE. It's the International Stagehands Union. So I also work shows. So when they come into town, we go in, we set up the venue, we put up the speakers, the lights, the sound equipment, set up the bands, step back, let the band do their thing, then we break it all down and send it home. I love doing that. I get to see a lot of shows. A lot of them I don't like, of course, because they can't all be winners. But, you know, working the show for Lamb of God, Mastodon, I mean, that's been, yeah, that's cool, you know, being able to go into the venues and really work with the road crews and that are on tour, you know, and having the knowledge of everything that I've done in the past with bands and, you know, pretending to be a roadie and actually doing some roadie work for Fab 3, all that came back around, and doing it professionally now is awesome. So
It sounds so cool.
It's been a really cool job to have. And it's union, so it pays well. I've got benefits, you know, retirement, all of that, and I get to do a really cool job on top of it. So
That sounds awesome.
yeah. So that's another thing that I've been doing. So yeah,
Super cool.
yeah,
It's
So-
been a great interview.
yeah.
Yeah. But I don't want this to be the Rob show. I would love for this to be fully open source. You've got the questions. They're on JaxPunx, so you can just look
Okay.
at them, and you can interview anybody you want, and you can just put it right there, and you can send us the stuff. We'll put the theme song on the front, theme song on the back, the
Okay.
intro, the outro, and have your stuff.
I would love to interview Christina.
Yes.
And I think
Perfect.
if I did it, I think that she would do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I don't think she'd do it for me because I've asked her to come sing like backup for one of our songs and stuff.
Yeah.
She ain't coming.
Yeah, she's yeah. So that's exciting, and we've been working on that lately. So
Well, this has been
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed this interview.
thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's been good.
Awesome.